Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dan McKee, Lieutenant Governor, and welcome to our virtual town hall for small business. Today we'll continue to work to provide information and to really focus on moving our economy forward. But again, continually a reminder, let's make sure that we're following the guidelines from the state's health department, washing our hands, putting our masks on, keeping the social distancing. And of course, anything that's impacting you and your lives today, whether it's small business or not, you can contact our office at 222-2371. We'd be happy to get back to you, and our staff is working every day to do the best we can to help the people who are being impacted by this health crisis and with this economic crisis. So today we're going to get right to the program. I'll leave my comments to the end because we got a couple people that are Secretary Pryor is going to be here today with us, and he's talking about a revised program for the grant program that we've been encouraging the governor and Stefan to make happen and make sure we get that $50 million of grant money that's supposed to help. It's going to help small businesses a great deal. Get that out the door as fast as we can. I do want to, before I get there, I always want to talk about this education issue because year over year, March 2020 to March 2021, the students in the state of Rhode Island, regardless of where they're coming from, whether they're coming from a high income, low income, moderate income, whether they're coming from minority household, non-minority household, whether they go in the private school, public school, they all are going to have a significant loss in number of hours of learning time. And it's to our benefit, the state's benefit, the economic benefit long-term to figure out how we make up those 600 to 1,000 hours of lost learning time. And again, I'm going to continue to advocate for the establishment of municipal education offices that go 52 weeks out of the year that help supplement our local school departments with learning opportunities. In Cumberland, we've had that for 13 years now. We've been running a pre-K in our town of Cumberland for 13 years now, and it's made a big difference, not only in math, reading, art, music, robotics, and we run that office 52 weeks out of the year in Cumberland to help kids that are from kindergarten level, pre-kindergarten, all the way up to high school in terms of different programs. Time to establish those in every community in the state of Rhode Island, if only for the short time frame that we're going to need, these couple of years we're going to need to pick up these hours that have been lost on our education of the students. It's important to our kids, it's important to those families, and overall it's important to our economy in the state because we know if we achieve at certain levels, Massachusetts levels, for instance, that the earning power in the state of Rhode Island for families that live in the state of Rhode Island is going to grow by as much as $2 billion. This is a reason why we need to make sure we double down on this education issues. And one way we can do that, municipal education offices to help support our current school systems with the yeoman job that they've got in front of them, the big job that they got in front of them, just overcoming this virus and open up safely. All right, so that being said, you can send your questions to ltgov20@gmail.com. And I know that Secretary Pryor has a hard stop around 12:15, so let's bring Secretary Pryor on now. Ben, please, let's welcome him to the program. Unmute yourself there, Stefan. Welcome, and thank you so much and your staff as well. We have been so privileged on this program to have DLT in your office and DBR with Liz and with Mark Haywood in terms of SBA to come on and provide this unbelievable important information, and your office as well. So I know you're working hard on many, many avenues. It's not just the grant program, but I know you have some updates that you want to share today. So welcome, Stefan. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for providing this forum. It's a valuable forum. And thank you to all the small businesses who are out there and are struggling every day and are making it happen every day. You are the lifeblood of our economy, and that's why our commerce team, as one participant in the effort to recover, our commerce team has been working literally night and day. At almost any hour, if you come by the commerce offices, you can see people in or catch them at home by Zoom, working their hearts out to get this small business grant program working for small businesses. And we're very grateful for the advocacy of the small business community. So first, an update, Lieutenant Governor. Since the program opened, we've had nearly 900 businesses funded, totaling approximately $8 million, including over 300 restaurants, over 100 retail businesses, approximately 100 personal care businesses such as hair salons and barbershops, and over 50 gyms and fitness centers. Now we want to reach many, many more, hundreds more. So we have today opened up the process, as we said we would do if there were adequate resources and if the rules permitted. We have opened up for more businesses to be eligible. So, Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to just describe what we have put out there. So now eligible are sole proprietors without any employees. So sole proprietors that have 0 employees beyond the owner are now eligible. All along, sole proprietors with even 1 employee or more were eligible, and that's still true. That hasn't stopped being true. But sole proprietors with 0 employees are eligible, and so are other businesses with 0 employees. And that's one side of the spectrum, Lieutenant Governor. On the other side of the spectrum, as we said we would do, resources permitting, we have opened up to the slightly larger small businesses. So previously it was 20 employees or fewer. Now it's 50 FTEs or fewer. 50 employees or fewer. Businesses are eligible. So if you're out there and you're a sole proprietor and you don't have any employees, you should now read the requirements and see if you're eligible to apply. You likely are. Sole proprietors with 0 employees are now allowed to apply. If you have 50 employees or fewer and you wondered if you were going to be eligible, you should be in. Check the rules, and we want you to apply. Now, restaurants and caterers. Lieutenant Governor, because restaurants and caterers have been so hard hit, we continue to have no employee cap, meaning they can have more than 50 employees. Whatever number they have, probably not that many are going to have all that many more, but some do. So restaurants and caterers have no cap. You're eligible because you've been so hard hit. Please keep applying. We've done a whole lot of streamlining. So the Commerce team has looked at every single question, every single requirement, and asked, why is this required? Is this a federal mandate? Okay, let's ask it as straightforwardly as we can. Is it a way of getting at the program rules? Okay, let's ask it as easily as we can. So here's a bunch of updates for you, Lieutenant Governor, and small businesses who are watching. Any eligible business with at least 30% of revenue loss may now apply. It used to be that we had these categories of businesses that are impacted and within severely impacted industries, and those with less severely impacted industries. So usually the industries that were closed and industries that were still affected hard but were not closed. It used to be that there was a 50% requirement for revenue loss. Now everyone's at 30. So everyone's at 30% revenue loss, which is a direction we'd hope we'd be able to go, and we have. Now, to small businesses out there who have either already tried the system, tried applying, or who are thinking about it, don't be surprised that the system actually, when you're applying, asks for 1 month of demonstrated revenue loss. That's to help you. That's to favor businesses. Why do I mean that? There may be a particular month-to-month comparison that helps you demonstrate your 30% loss. You may be a seasonal business where your cycle of revenue is different from other businesses. You may just, for you, April was terrible. For others, it was June. Whichever one you choose, you can demonstrate that 30% loss. Some small businesses may look at that and say, well, wait a minute, I had losses across multiple months. That's true. No one's taking that away from you. No one's arguing against you. We just want you to show it in the way that is most favorable to you to get that grant to you. So in any case, in any given month since the pandemic started in March, if you can show 30% revenue loss, you can be eligible for this grant. You can now, this is also new, Lieutenant Governor. businesses can now count independent contractors, 1099 employees, 1099 contractors, as FTEs in the award calculation. We've been listening to a lot of feedback from small businesses. We've been compiling it. One of the most frequent questions was, can I count my 1099s as employees for the purposes of increasing my award size because it's based on the number of employees you have? Now you can. And I believe, Lieutenant Governor, of all the states that are using employee counts, we're the only one allowing this. So this is one of the most flexible programs in the country on that point. Generally speaking, another update, generally speaking, when you tell us, here's my expenses, here's my revenue loss, here's my employment, my number of employees, we are no longer going to require you to upload documents to back that up. Now, you need to retain your information if you're a small business because the feds may require that we audit, which is not to say a full audit of the business, but that we check our results to make sure people were doing it by the book. And there will be some proactive mini auditing where we ask people for information in advance. But for the vast majority of businesses, having said those things, Lieutenant Governor, there will no longer be the requirement that you upload the quote unquote evidence, the documents for employment, revenue, and expense claims that you make on your submission. It will be much easier. So if you're a small business and you looked at this and said, oh gosh, I've got to get some information together. This may take me a while. I'll come back to this. Now's the time because we've waived some of these documentation requirements to make things easier for you. We're doing everything we can to prune back the requirements and make it easier for you. As I said, we've already streamlined the process for sole proprietors and zero employee businesses, those without W-2 employees or without independent contractors. So those are the big changes. We're very pleased to be expanding the program and making it even more user-friendly because we know businesses, our smallest businesses, do not have the time to be figuring everything out. We've got to do the work for them and try to figure out processes that are simple. Now, Lieutenant Governor, for the small businesses out there that are going to go take a look at the application, please go to the commerceri.com website. The commerceri.com website will tell you what you need to know about the application requirements, what I've said, and even more helpful explanation, and can get you to the link to apply, commerceri.com. Now, small businesses, when you go and look, there are specific questions that require specific answers. Don't be intimidated. You can do it. We've had some small businesses go through it. We know you can do it. They've given us feedback. We've improved and improved on the questions, the draft questions we had for this version to get it to the place where we know you can do it. It does require some reading of the instructions. There's some information buttons. You can click on the little buttons and get even more information that'll pop up for you. You can go to our commerceri.com website to draw down more explanatory information. But really, when you go and look, there's going to be specific questions and specific answers. Don't be intimidated by that. We know you can get through it because some of our smallest businesses have already done it, and we are also here to help you. So this is my last point, Lieutenant Governor. We have information sessions for people. You don't have to absorb everything today and then fend for yourself by looking at our website. The website will help you, but we have information sessions and Zoom office hours. The upcoming sessions of various descriptions are coming up this week, Wednesday at 3 p.m., and then Thursday both at 1 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. Zoom office hours, Wednesday 3 p.m., Thursday 1 p.m., and 5:15 p.m. Check out the commerceri.com website. We'll have these information sessions posted, these Zoom office hours posted. And if you're a business that needs help, we can help you one-on-one by Zoom figure out this process so you can take the least amount of time and get the grants that we want you to have.
So Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. I'm getting a little feedback. I don't know if you're getting the same thing on your side, but I want to just say that simplifying is going to be helpful. Yesterday, as recently as yesterday, I received an email from a sole proprietor hair salon who was begging for the opportunity to be able to participate. So now we'll get back to that individual and make sure that they are following through with your office.
Please, mate.
We're doing these take it outside tours that's consistent with what the governor's talking about. So we're going to these local communities. I'll be in Burrillville later today. I'll get you that schedule so that you can join us on a couple of these visits with these small businesses, so you can see firsthand, exactly what you described, and to be true. There's a struggle going on out there to kind of survive, and we need to do everything we can to make that happen. Also provided you a little background on the Dun and Bradstreet issues that we talked about this morning. Take a look at that. Hopefully that's somewhat helpful, give you a little more flexibility. And then I have talked to the daycare people because we need to work ourselves through that in terms of what's pre-existing in terms of grants and what's currently available, and making sure they're matching together. So I've sent you a note that for a time tomorrow, if you could take a 15-minute call. But this just showed, I just want to explain that to people who are watching it, that you're very accessible and you're trying to make sure that you're getting that money out the door, and that's what we want. Ben, do you have a question at all for the secretary? Because he's on a schedule here, so I want to make sure he meets that schedule.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna ask you, Secretary Pryor, do you have time to quick answer a couple questions from the? Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
No problem. So I'll get through these as quick as possible. Jennifer says, do you have to be a brick and mortar?
No, you do not have to be a brick and mortar business. You do need to be in operation, or in the next 60 days, tell us that you will be in operation to be eligible, because of course we're trying to prioritize the businesses that are aiming to get back up and running. Even if they're not open yet, they can be eligible so long as in the next 2 months you think you will be. And then there's a portion of the grant that can go to you. So no, you do not need to be a brick and mortar business in the sense of having a dedicated separate workplace.
And what about sole proprietors working from home? Asks Cynthia.
Absolutely eligible.
Okay.
So long as you are a business, a going business, open for business, and you can show us the revenue loss, you're in.
And I believe you covered this a little bit. Are child care centers eligible?
Child care centers are eligible for a larger separate program with even bigger money from the state using federal dollars. And the Lieutenant Governor and I are going to get into those businesses, that is to say childcare businesses that may not be eligible somehow, and we want to really understand that in greater depth. We've gotten some understanding, but with the LG's help, we're going to dive in even deeper.
And Stefan, I want to tell you that I have followed up with a conversation with some of the leaders in the daycare, and they have verified that the original dollars, those grants, that those are made more streamlined as well. So those who didn't qualify for that, there still seems to be a possibility they could now with their new revised strategies. Exactly. But with also it's a competitive grant strategy with LISC. So that's where a number of the daycare businesses are not getting accepted because of the competition. And that's where I think the argument is that maybe we can try to shift them into this grant, do one or the other, type of a thing, so that no one gets lost in the shuffle. Definitely. Ben, you got anything? You got anything, Ben?
I have two more if you got them. Diane said, we applied severely impacted grant, but because travel agencies were not included at the beginning, we only received the amount of the standard grant. I have called and emailed Mark Broder, and he says that our business is flagged. How do I get the remainder of the grant?
I will ask if you can, Ben, forward to me and Matt Sheaf the business contact information. We'll make sure that from my office, we make sure it gets attention from the processors, because they are completely eligible, and travel agencies are among the many affected businesses in the severely impacted category. So we'll make sure it happens.
Okay.
And then Stefan, also, we're on a call with the small businesses yesterday with the coalition, which will be on shortly. And one of the individuals actually had applied, but did not qualify. But he's been told that he has made the application, so it's still there. He has to update some stuff, but he doesn't have to go all the way through the whole process again because he's met that standard.
Thank you for bringing that up, Lieutenant Governor, and I'm glad you got that direct report from a business that's experiencing it. We are not asking people who've already applied who may have been sole proprietors, and we're hoping that we would open this up, as we said we would. they don't have to reapply. And we've been working with our processors to pull those files and get them processed. Now, having said that, if you are not sure of your status, if you are having a problem where you tried to move it forward and it hasn't happened, reach out to us. You can call 521-HELP, register, just make sure that you let us know who you are with your contact information. But if you're already doing it, if you've been contacted by our processors at CRF or by the Commerce Corporation, you don't have to call anybody until they contact you and we get you through. You do not need to reapply.
Great.
I know that you have to go, so there's a ton of more questions. What I'm going to suggest is that if everybody can just email your questions in to ltgov20@gmail.com, and we'll send them over the best
You want
we
to
can.
take 2 more? It's up to you, sir.
No, take a couple more if you can, Stefan. I think this is very important, the work that you're doing right now, and we do want to get that $50 million out so that I can start advocating for more.
Awesome.
Love it.
All right. What about if you got the SBA loan, can you apply?
Yes, you absolutely can apply. Now, what the federal government requires is no double dipping. So you can't pay for the same thing 2 times. So what we ask you to do is in the application, describe your expenses, and we just ask you to give us the total amount that you've had to spend because of anything COVID related, fixed expenses like rent, new outlays like plexiglass, outdoor furniture, you lay it out. If especially a federal grant has gone towards that already, just leave that part out and talk about the other expenses you have. Many businesses have far more expenses than the size of this grant. So the safe move would be for an SBA loan. There are many different types of loan. For example, the EIDL loan had an advance that turned out to be very much like a grant. So to be safe, the recommendation would be just anything that you specifically paid for with that, put that to one side and apply for the Restore Rhode Island Small Business Grant on the other side. That's the safest way to go about it. But you are definitely still eligible. You absolutely are still eligible for this grant.
And our final question comes from Walter. What about businesses that have several different services? Some services are down more than 30% and others aren't. Overall, because of changes, e-commerce, etc., we show a loss less than 30%.
Well, listen, we'll always consider further expansions of the program. So what we've tried to do is make sure that the businesses that we are helping first and during this expansion are the businesses that were clearly affected in terms of the revenue they're taking in. That's got to be the way that we approach it. But could there be future expansions of a variety of types in the future? Yes. We haven't made those determinations yet, so I'm not responding to this particular point yet. But we will always look for new opportunities to help more small businesses that are impacted. So let's continue to talk about it. Again, if you are a business that keep in mind, let me just say a broader thing about this point, though, Ben and Lieutenant Governor. If even in 1 month you saw a revenue drop, even if it was just April, you would be eligible for this grant. So just because your revenue has recovered recently doesn't mean that we're going to hold that against you. We will not hold that against you. As a matter of fact, we only have a 1 month revenue demonstration that's required in this new process. This has been true for a little while now, but still, in our process, as we've refined it, it's only 1 month because we want to give the best shot to small businesses to show that they have had any impact. In relation to the question, the questioner is, can you show even 1 month and then you're in? And we'll continue to dialogue about other possibilities.
So, Stefan, that's going to make, like, we had a manufacturer on, and I've had a conversation with them that they were doing okay in the spring because their orders were in advance, right? So they were filling orders, but they are not doing okay today. So that's going to do that for them. Yes, so I think that's a really important thing. And then the other one, which we're just kind of floating the idea now, but we have businesses that I'm visiting that have opened up in the last 3 months that have not been in the loop because they don't have the comparative data. I don't know whether that's being addressed right now, but these businesses have the same overhead. I talked to one yesterday, new business they have $11,000 of built-in overhead right now with their rent and their utilities and their payroll, and they're not qualifying for the grants as they were prior to. I'm not sure they qualify today either.
No, well, listen, very valid points. There are always going to be new things we can do, and we want to do some of them. So for businesses that opened since the pandemic started, obviously it's going to be harder to show pandemic impacts. What we've tried to do is create a program that helps the businesses that were hit hard by the pandemic, showing losses, showing expenses. And that, frankly, as we've all learned, Lieutenant Governor, communicating about that, getting the word out, getting businesses ready to apply, we need to keep it focused to get that accomplished. Now, having said that, for any small business that has financial needs, we have other programs. We have something called the Small Business Assistance Program, which is a business loan program that has flexible terms and is a longer standing program. We created it under the Raimondo administration, but has existed for a few years. If you need a loan now because you have some challenges, we have that product. There are others as well. If you're trying to do things outdoors, because of our Take It Outside campaign, we're putting some dollars on the street through chambers of commerce and industry associations to help you buy heat lamps or outdoor furniture or whatever you may need outdoors. Actually, the associations will buy it for you. So let us know, contact us, 521-HELP. If you're a brand new business and you just need help, we're not going to set you aside. We're going to dive in and try to help you. So we've got other tools for those purposes.
Thanks for your time. You're on overtime. You're on overtime as the rest of the officers. Thanks, Stefan, and thanks to all your staff for your work and helping out in this area. Very important.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Right back at you. Okay, yeah. So you've heard it. There's some changes that have happened, and we need to make that happen. And I forgot to give the Secretary Pryor the idea of the face mask. And Matt, thank you for doing this. I do have mine. I do have mine off screen. And Liz is not on today, so I unfortunately she seems to be the keeper of the masks idea, right? But anyways, Matt, thank you for being here.
Well, I like to wear the mask because, first of all, it's responsible and it's the right thing to do, and we all want to get back to a sense of normal at some point. Governor, you said that, and I think it's super important that we do that as quickly as we can. So everybody, do the right thing. Wear a mask.
There you go. Thanks,
and
Matt.
Liz's office is right next to mine, and I'm a little bit intimidated that they might come over and invest in me. So,
well, she like I said, she's the master of the masks.
That's right.
And I
don't have a lot today. We processed the FEMA payments, the lost wage assistance money that everyone knows about by now. That was $300 extra per week from the weeks beginning August 1st and ending on September 5th. There were 6 total payments. FEMA told every state in the country that after 6 weeks, the program would expire as they had run out of funds for this program. We have now paid everyone who was eligible at the time has been paid the 6 weeks. People do become eligible after we ran those payments. So every Friday, we do through a computer program, we scoop up all the people that should have been paid and weren't for one reason or another, and they get payments. So if you're waiting on a payment and you think you're eligible, I would ask you to wait till this time next week, and I bet you it'll be in your account. And if it's not by then I would email ltgov20@gmail and let them know, and then I can take a look at it. There is a way to manually process those payments. We don't have, most of the staff can't actually do it. We set it up so they can't. We have to monitor that account very, very closely because FEMA does not allow for any overdraft. So we have to be very careful with how we process those payments. Only a few people are able to do that manually. So I'm going to urge people, don't call the call center looking for that money. They're going to tell you to wait until Friday. So I'm just going to urge you now, wait till Friday. Give it until this time next week to get the money in your account, and then let us know. Other than that, things are going well. 80,704 people last week requested a payment. So it's coming down a little bit, but we're still pretty busy. We still took in about 15,000 claims last week. Now, some of those were probably duplicate claims or people that had to file again because we've been doing this for so long now. And other than that, we just stay busy and we do what we can do.
So Matt, a carryover question from last week that I forgot to ask is someone gets quarantined, right? That's working and they're required to quarantine, and they lose several days of work, is that a qualifiable request for assistance, an unemployment benefit?
Absolutely. So the federal pandemic unemployment assistance program was designed to provide assistance for folks like that. If they're going to quarantine for 2 weeks, for sure they could apply for a PUA. That's available right on our website under the unemployment tab. If they're going to be out pending a test result and it's less than 2 weeks, but it's, I would say, more than half of a week, then they can apply. The reason I say half a week, Governor, is if you worked, say, 3 days and you were going to miss 2, most likely you earned over your benefit rate in those 3 days that you worked. So you wouldn't qualify for a payment for that week, but apply. If you have, that's what the program is there for. The federal government is funding it, and it's meant so you can take the time to go deal with your health situation and not be in the workplace when potentially you've been exposed or you need to test. You have to do the right thing, and there are backstops to help you out with your income during that time.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. I think you're going to see more of that than less than that, especially with the schools opening up and the universities opening up. And we know that, boy, your advice there early on, wear the mask. For God's sakes, if you're a young college student, please wear your masks. I mean, especially if you're coming from out of state, you're going to impact our local economy in a way that we can't really take right now. Please follow the rules. If you're coming in from out of state, if you're attending our universities, we love having you here, but follow those rules so that we make sure that we stay safe. But in the backdrop of that, Matt, I think you are going to get a number of, testing, especially the testing seems to be a little bit quicker now, but there's still some of them as much as 5 days to get the result over, based on testing. And it's shorter than that in some spaces, but it's good to know that there is an ability to apply for some relief if in fact you're kind of caught in that dilemma.
Absolutely.
Ben, do you have a question?
No, but I always love saying hi to Matt. So hey, Matt.
Hey, Ben.
Nobody's asked any questions today.
I'm very happy with that. I will say that we're now serving between 1,200 and 1,400 people a day on the phone. I know it's a hassle. I know people have to try multiple times, but do me a favor and try. 415-6772. Try multiple times. Maybe try later in the afternoon. Sometimes the line or the queue isn't so bad then. And you can get through to somebody. And those are people that actually have access to the system and can process your payments or help you with your claim. And then last for this week, Governor, I had to drive down to URI this morning to drop something off to my oldest son. And I will tell you that every single person I saw on that campus walking around had a mask on. Yeah. So not one person was missing a mask. So that's good, me included.
Good. Well, I was reading an interesting article today that talked about, that we need to, set the rules down. People will follow the rules. If we just leave it up to people to, do what they think is best, that's not a good formula. So I'm glad to hear that at URI. And I could be put my URI hat on now. I have that in the other room too. So
good.
I'll bring that to my to the next week's call, my URI hat.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, see ya. Okay. I mean, that's good to hear, but Matt has just been unbelievable. DLT, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. It's so important to make sure that if there are benefits available, that people can access them. And so again, if you have any questions about the unemployment or anything that has to do with the commerce or DBR with Liz Tanner, Liz will be here next week. Please, call us 222-2371 or email us at the email address that Ben has put up a number of times, ltgov20@gmail.com. We set that up as a special Gmail address when the COVID started so that we could have all the COVID issues really centralized into one place so that our staff can respond quickly to you and do the very best we can to get you in the right direction or solve your problem. Or if we can't, we'll let you know. But if you have a question, ask it. And if you have some ideas or thoughts about how we can address these issues that we're talking about today, including the education or including the commerce issues, the grant issues, the DLT issues, just let us know. All right, let's bring on our coalition members, the Small Business Coalition with Chris. I'm sure Chris is here. And Laurie, thank you, Laurie, for being here.
Hello.
It's good to see you. I think that we're going to have to do a checkup with Justin. I think I'll be paying him a visit before the week's out to see what's going on.
I saw Justin this morning, and he said he was going to be here, but hopefully he has some good stuff happening, and it's preventing him.
Yeah, well, we're doing everything we can to make sure he gets back into business after he had that small fire in his manufacturing place. And boy, I tell you, it just illustrates, Chris, how fragile we are. Even some the normal things that happen that kind of impact our businesses positively and negative, they're still there. But then we throw in this issues that we're dealing with in terms of the impact of the health crisis having on our economies, our local businesses. But thanks for being here, Chris. Give us a little update of what we're working on and the calls that you're continuing having.
I just want to say, Chris, I have to thank you because you're holding down the fort here while everybody is kind of all over the place. And as we know, we're all running our own businesses. So I really want to publicly thank you. I know you have a wedding coming up and I am going to be there for you. So don't worry about that. I just wanted to say that we really appreciate it. And, we've kind of bumped in and out, but we want to, maintain our presence. And so just know we're with you.
Great. I appreciate that and all the other kind words from the coalition members. And it's all about them. Our small businesses are extremely important to our economy, as we all know, as Secretary Pryor mentioned. And with the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition, we've been very straightforward with our response to the original Rhode Island Restore RI grant program. And that's that it needed to include all types of businesses, included sole proprietors with 0 employees. And that process was too darn difficult that we needed to streamline. We're happy that Commerce has listened to the Lieutenant Governor, that they listened to the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition and changed their program to benefit those specifically with no employees, sole proprietors. We're eager to see the streamlined process to apply for the grant program and really urge all of our coalition members to apply. Reapply if you already have. Secretary Pryor and Commerce mentioned that it'll be quicker to just continue your application opposed to starting from scratch. So we're really happy to see the progress from the advocacy that we had, and we're excited to come up what's next. And that's really working with our General Assembly members, understanding that a lot of it's on, Governor Raimondo's administration, but these General Assembly members represent us, the senators and the representatives. They represent us small business owners, and we need to communicate to them what we're experiencing, what we're thinking, so that they can go to bat for us and advocate for what we need as well.
Yeah, Laurie, go ahead. Weigh in a little bit, and then I do want to get into the where this strategy that has come up on the calls. But go ahead, Laurie.
This is just quick. So Shay was saying weekly Zoom calls with the coalition at 11 a.m. on Mondays. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to receive those links and get that information. And so it is going to rismallbusiness.org and signing up for the newsletter. Is that correct?
Yeah, so what we've been saying on these calls is at the end, we remind everyone to email info@rismallbusiness.org, and we'll add you to the calendar invite. It's a recurring event every Monday at 11 a.m. So you'll get the reminder, and you could hop on the Zoom call, or you can just call via the phone number if that's what you prefer. And it's a good two-way communication. You get to hear from us, from the coalition, and we get to hear from you. And we can not only update you on what we're doing, but we can also hear from you and what you suggest and what you're experiencing and what your colleagues are experiencing. So it's really important that you join us every Monday at 11 a.m. And that's a great point, Laurie.
Yeah, and on the call on Monday, I think that we gave an overview of what we are anticipating on the grant program. We certainly, as I've indicated to the secretary in my private call with him this morning, and again on the call today, we're looking to get that 50 million out as fast as we can, so with that we can allocate some more dollars where they can be very helpful. But this discussion with the General Assembly, one of the people on the call was talking about what other states are doing to help potentially with payroll taxes that are due or sales taxes that are due, and how are they maybe spreading those out. And some communities are deferring their liquor license, for instance, to quarterly payments. Some communities are, Warren in particular, that was one of the places that we did a take it out tour with Warren down there, and I was told that the Warren Town Council had given a 25% discount on their liquor licenses. And then when you look at, in addition, like East Greenwich is shutting down Main Street, opening it up to dinners on Sunday evenings, and looking at ways that they can extend the season into the fall with heating strategies and that type of thing. So we want to make sure, Chris, that we start that conversation. We'll compile a letter, as we did to the governor last week, to the General Assembly members, and CC all the General Assembly members to know that there's things that can happen when they get back in session, or maybe this will drive them back into session, to really look at ways that they can facilitate policy, reduce regulation strategies, maybe take the money over periods of time, maybe reduce some of the penalties because of the challenges that people have right now paying their bills. So that's something that's right on the horizon, right, Chris?
Yeah, and I mean, even one coalition member suggested, hey, why don't we reduce the cost of the liquor license based on the forced reducement of capacity, right? If you're forced, let's say 50% capacity, well, let's make it 50% of the licensing, liquor license fees. So that's why these calls, the live broadcast every Tuesday at 12 p.m., but also the Monday at 11 a.m. call with the coalition is so important, so that you can actually have a seat at the table, and we can now propose these ideas, these solutions to the General Assembly, for instance, so that you continue your engagement.
Yeah, that's great.
And then, so I would just add to that is that because we're doing these take it out tours, and we're including municipal leaders, walking to business by business, hearing what they're doing specifically in their community, and sharing what's being done. Like in Lincoln, they've streamlined the process. So all they, if you have a business and you want to take it outside to the parking lot, all you need is if they have a landlord, is get their permission. And then they have a streamlined process that Joe Almond was talking about that is specifically set up to help these small businesses, work their way through in a very quick fashion, so that they can take advantage of whatever business they can take advantage of. So we're going to be on that Take It Outside tour. I'll be headed to Burrillville this afternoon. I think East Providence, and I'm not sure where the next spot is, but I would say if you're listening to the program, by the way, I forgot, share this out if you can. Share this out. And if you have a business you want us to visit in one of the communities, or you're a municipal leader watching right now, and you want to host it, I know that my hometown of Cumberland is setting something up. Mayor Grebian setting something up. We're going to be walking through Central Falls with Mayor Diosa and Town Council President Maria Rivera very shortly. So if you're out there, and these meetings are so important because we're bringing real life stories back to the decision makers. This is not something that we're just dreaming up. These are coming right from the mouths of the small businesses and the local municipalities, so that we can share that information. So if you would like us to do a Take It Out tour in your community, let us know. If you're an art business, by the way, we're going to try to double up on that. So because we still have about 15 different communities to visit an art related business, so we're going to. We checked off that box in Warren the other day when we visited a studio with a teacher that teaches art to young kids. And just to, again, the relevancy of these meetings, she was down 75% on her business right now. She had 48 students when the pandemic hit, moving along pretty well. Now she's down to 12 students and trying to recapture. So this is happening in every business. It's not just an ice cream shop, right? It's not just another
That's
ice cream
right.
shop.
It's not just an ice
as
cream.
Lori did on her video. So
That's
anyways,
we
do you
see a
have it?
music school with the same issue. You know, you have all this in person with kids and great community building, and then that becomes virtual and the business goes down, but you still have rent and you still have to keep the door open, or, you know, it's just like it builds on top, as you guys know.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's so important they get involved in the grants. That, you know, they open that up. I think we can still. I think it's going to be simplified, so that's encouraging. And we got to take a close look at that to make sure that it's being simplified to the best that it can be, right? And I am going to be doing follow up with Secretary Pryor on some of the issues, including the done number. That's still a requirement, but I think it could be relaxed. But we'll find out whether they'll have the flexibility to do that. Ben, what do you got?
Hey guys. So I just wanted, hey Chris, I haven't seen you in a while. So I just wanted to say, just a testament to the, you know, how great this this services and Senator DePalma keeps singing the praises of these virtual business town halls in the comments. But I had somebody send me a text just about 5 minutes ago that said that they found out about the sole proprietor, you know, with no employees being able to be on during the show today, and their application is already complete, and that stuff. So like, this is such a great service. And just a reminder to check out rismallbusiness.org. If you have a business, go to shoplocalrhodeisland.com and put your business up there, especially if you're a business without a website and that needs help in that department. It's a great way to do that. And also Cheyenne wanted me to also mention that if you're a small business that's in the coalition or even not in the coalition, and you want to advertise and talk about that, you can contact Lori and I, because we do a business show every Tuesday morning, where you can come on and promote your business and talk about everything that you're doing right now and everything that your business does and the struggles that you've gone through with COVID-19. So those are the things that Cheyenne wanted me to hop on.
Lieutenant Governor, you saw the business in Westerly, I think last week. Ben, can you remind me the name of the location?
Are you talking about the Winnipeg Pond that we talked about?
Winnipeg Pond, the shellfish. Those guys were on the business show this morning and really like expanding that. And I think that between all of us, you know, the work is, if you're a business and you're looking for help and you're looking for sustainability, then this is a place to be.
Yeah, it is, Laurie, and we'll keep adding on, especially you know, the tours that we're having.
Yeah.
There's always one or two people who don't know about the site. Go to rismallbusiness.org. You join the coalition, and surprisingly, we had a few people that didn't know about the efforts on the grant program. So we know that the extending this discussion out into our local communities in a real strong way, again, is going to benefit several hundred businesses that are, you know, they're just trying to stay in business right now. So they're not paying attention to anything else but trying to, you know, have the key in the hand at the beginning of the day and the key at the hand at the end of the day. That's a good day. That's that's what I've said for years. So, but anyways, Ben, do we have a business owner that's going to join us?
We don't. She had an emergency situation come up, but Cheyenne wanted me to say one more thing, which is a reminder. And Lieutenant Governor, you can talk about it in a second. And I have that video to play again.
The census.
The census is due September 30th. Get your census in, and I'll play the video when we exit. So I'll leave you guys to it. Thank you.
All right. So Chris, is there anything, or Lori, you have anything to add? Or otherwise, we'll be able to kind of sum it up.
I think I would say we really need to make this list so we can create the priorities for the Small Business Coalition. I mean, we're thinking like months or 2 months in advance, but it may seem short, but really important and really proactive. So thank you, Chris, again for.
And Ben mentioning Senator DePalma. He's very interested in, you know, helping us craft a letter or some sort of correspondence with the General Assembly, spelling out these needs and these asks. Along with, I had a good conversation with Rep. Carlos Taban, who's a small business owner himself, experiencing many of the same things as a new business owner in opening up during the pandemic. He's very sensitive to what's happening there, and so he's willing. He's really wants to be a voice on this as well. So I think that's a good next task, Chris. But give us your final thoughts, and let's keep on plugging along.
Just to piggyback, Senator DePalma, besides being a Yankees fan, has been a very helpful advocate for us small businesses. And yeah, that was the deliverable on Monday's call. Yesterday's call was Lieutenant Governor's office is we're going to compile the list, and Mark Dion, who's been on our calls, is suggesting let's look at other states and other programs that they have. So we're not necessarily recreating the wheel, and really focusing also on our hospitality, our restaurants. We're going to take it outside. That's the program we're going to do. And hopefully there can be some monies to help make it more attractable for consumers to, do business outside. But we got to really ensure that we're focusing to save these restaurants. Every day we're almost seeing in the news a new restaurant that we all love go down. And we got to do what we can as consumers and, do takeout, do whatever we can to support these businesses. But we also got to do whatever we can from a state government standpoint. So make sure if you're a small business, your restaurant, contact your congressman, your senator, yes, and let her or him know, what you're experiencing and how they can help. So that's kind of the big thing and the next steps. And Lori, I have not missed one of these calls yet, but I think the Monday after my wedding, I think I'll get in trouble. So I think I may have to miss one coming up soon.
Yeah. We need to talk. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you, Senator Palmer, for that last comment. And the work is going to continue. As we can see, we want this grants to get out, the $50 million. We're going to be certainly advocating for more dollars to go into our small business community. The federal grants are there to help our small businesses. In addition, as we try to create a laundry list of things that other states are doing through their general assemblies to help their small businesses, we're compiling a list now. If you're aware of anything that's happening in other states that Rhode Island might piggyback on and copy, and there's nothing wrong with copying good ideas, and any municipality that's out there that has done things or thinking about doing things, we want to hear you that, and we'll get out on the Take It Outside 39 tour that we're in the progress on right now. All right, but I knew I wanted to mention the census. The census is a very important for our state. On our community conversation last Wednesday, we focused totally the whole show on the census and the fact that we want to make sure that if you haven't filled it out yet, we want you to fill it out. And it impacts every community. Whether you're coming from, a community that is middle income or lower income or higher income, again, whether you're coming from a spot that, is coming from minority income, minority community, non-minority community, every community, all 39 cities and towns need to make sure that they get the right count. And that collectively helps Rhode Island in a way where the federal dollars that get appropriated to different programs, to education, to roads construction, to school constructions, and the list goes on. In order for us to get our fair share, we need to do the work to make sure that we're filling out the census. So if you have not filled out the census, please go do that. We're going to spend a little clip right now about how you can access, or you can call our office for that information, 222-2371. Call our office if you have any questions on the census. But we need to make sure that we're getting 100% compliance, and it's simple. It doesn't take very much time. So run the tape. We're going to see you for the community conversation tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and then we'll see you again for this virtual town hall for small businesses next Tuesday. Until then, stay healthy.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.